World's Strangest Animals 2. Number 5. The Golden Langur. This is an old world monkey found in a small region of western Assam, India, and the neighboring foothills of the Black Mountains of Bhutan. It was first brought to the attention of the Western world by Edward Gee in the 1950s. Adult males have a pale to cream golden coat with darker flanks, while the females and the juveniles are lighter. The golden langur has a black face and a long tail up to 100 centimeters in length. It lives in the high trees and has an herbivorous diet of fruits, leaves, seeds, buds, and flowers. The average group size is 8 individuals, with a ratio of several females to each adult male. It is one of the most endangered primate species of India and Bhutan. In 2008 to 2009, there were 6,000 golden langurs in India, which has grown to 7,300 by 2021. There are 2 subspecies of this species. They are separated by a geological fault in the Himalayas called the main frontal thrust. In Bhutan, it is hybridized with the capped langur. This is believed to be due to the construction of permanent bridges across the river, which separates the 2 species. As you can see, the langur kinda looks human. This is due to the scurril in its eyes, a feature seen in some of the great apes, including humans. The langur's coat changes color seasonally, from white to cream colored in the summer to golden dark or chestnut in the winter. Their long whiskers protect their eyes from rain during monsoon. They have black faces and a large whirl of hair on its crown. Gee's golden langur is found in an area of approximately 30,000 square kilometers, much of which is unsuitable habitat. For the most part, the langur is confined to high trees where its long tail serves as a balancer when it leaps across branches. During the rainy season, it obtains water from dew and rain-drenched leaves. Its diet is herbivorous, consisting of ripe and unripe fruits, mature and young leaves, seeds, buds, and flowers. It generally lives in troops of about 8. Gee's golden langur is currently endangered with a decreasing population trend. Total population of mature adults has been estimated at 6,000 to 6,500. It is one of the most endangered primate species of India and Bhutan. In India, 93% of the population is found in forest reserves in the Manas National Park. The population has declined by more than 30% in the last 30 years and is expected to decline further shortly. Golden langurs are protected by law in their range. On June 5, 2019, the district authorities of Assam launched a project to plant guava, mango, blackberry, and other fruits to ensure that the resident golden langurs of the reserve forest do not have to risk their lives to find food. Several golden langurs have died due to electrocution and in road accidents while looking for food beyond the reserve forest. The relative deaths of infant and juveniles indicates a declining population, with the habitat being degraded by human activity. A fragmented but protected population and a rubber plantation increased the population from 38 individuals in 1997 to 52 in 2002. The population has also adapted to feeding on dry rubber seeds. The earliest record of the golden langur is in 1838 by Robert Pemberton. However, since Pemberton's work was lost and not rediscovered until the 1970s, the scientific discovery of the golden langur unfolded differently. It wasn't until the 1950s that a focused effort to identify the golden langur was mounted by Edward Gee in 1953. His team was able to observe 3 groups of golden langurs, all on the east bank of the Sankosh River. In 1954, Gee reported his findings to an expert at the Zoological Society of London, who advised that the golden langur might be a new species. The following year, a taxonomist who studied the species described the new species, naming it Presbytis gee, in honor of Robert Gee. Number 4. Small Indian civet. This civet is native to South and Southeast Asia. It is listed as least concern on the red list because of its widespread distribution, widespread habitat use, and healthy populations living in agricultural and secondary landscapes of many range states. Though often mistakenly called civet cats, they are actually part of a different family and are more closely related to mongooses. The small Indian civet occurs in most of India, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, South and Central China, and Taiwan. Small Indian civets are nocturnal, mostly terrestrial, and insectivorous. They inhabit holes in the ground, under rocks, or in thick bushes. In areas not disturbed by humans, they have been reported to sometimes also hunt by day. Small Indian civets are primarily terrestrial, though they also climb well. Individuals sleep in burrows or hollow logs. They can dig their own burrows, but also occupy abandoned burrows of other species. In suburban habitats, they use gutters or other hollow, dark spaces as makeshift burrows. When it comes to diet, these small Indian civets feed on rats, mice, birds, snakes, fruit, roots, and carrion. Some individuals were observed while carrying off poultry. Reproduction. The female has usually 4 or 5 young at birth. Captive small Indian civets and Kerala were observed to mate in March to May and October to December. Mean gestation lasts 65 to 69 days. Kittens weigh between 90 and 110 grams at birth and open their eyes after 5 days. They reach 1,000 grams at the age of 10 weeks. The lifespan in captivity is 8 to 9 years. In Myanmar, it is totally protected under the Wildlife Act of 1994. Civetta indica was the scientific name given to the species by Etienne Hilaire in 1803 when he described a small Indian civet skin from India in the collection of the French Museum. Viverricula was the generic name introduced by Brian Hodgson in 1838 when he described new mammal genera and species collected in Nepal. Number 3. Atretokoana. This is a species originally known only from 2 preserved specimens discovered by Sir Graham Hales in the Brazilian rainforest. He was on an expedition in the late 1800s, but it wasn't until 2011 when it was rediscovered by engineers working on a hydroelectric dam project in Brazil. In 1998, it was known only from the type specimen in the Natural Historic Museum in Vienna. This species is the largest of the few known lungless pteropods and the only known lungless caecilian. The Atretokoana is the largest pteropod to lack lungs, double the size of the next largest. Caecilians such as this are limbless amphibians with snake-like bodies marked with rings like those on earthworms. It has significant morphological differences from other caecilians. The skull is very different from those of other caecilians, giving the animal a broad, flat head. Its nostrils are sealed, and it has an enlarged mouth with a mobile cheek. Its body has a fleshy dorsal fin. Most caecilians have a well-developed right lung and a vestigial left lung. Some have 2 well-developed lungs. Atretokoana, however, entirely lacks lungs and has a number of other features associated with lunglessness, including sealed choanae and an absence of pulmonary arteries. Its skin is filled with capillaries that penetrates the epidermis, allowing gas exchange. Its skull shows evidence of muscles not found in any other organism. The Vienna specimen of Atretokoana is a large caecilian at a length of 72.5 centimeters, while the other specimen is larger at 80.5 centimeters. By comparison, caecilians in general range of length from 11 to 160 centimeters. Most caecilians are burrowers, but some, including the Atretokoana's relatives, are largely aquatic. The Atretokoana is thought to be aquatic since its relatives and lungless salamanders, some of the few other lungless pteropods, are aquatic as well. It was postulated to inhabit fast-flowing water. Due to the lack of information, it is classified as least concerned by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. It is thought to be uncommon with a limited distribution. It is likely a predator or scavenger and is thought to be viviparous. In 2011, 6 individual organisms were found in the Madeira River. This river doesn't have cold, fast-flowing water as was originally thought, as there is less oxygen and warmer water. This makes its lack of lungs even more unusual, and the question of how it breathes has not been yet resolved. The specimen in the Vienna Museum was known only to have originated from somewhere in South America, at least before 1945, most likely in the 19th century. The Vienna specimen was the holotype for this species when it was first described by Edward Taylor in his 1968 monograph Caecilians of the World. Taylor considered it to be similar to the aquatic caecilians, taking much note only of its large size and high number of splenal teeth. Examination of the specimen showed it to have a large number of unusual features, including the large number of splenial teeth, but most unusually, closed choanae, which showed it could not fill any lungs it might have. Because of these and other distinctive features, Nussbaum and Wilkinson gave the species its own genus when they reported on the results of their research in a 1995 issue of the Proceedings of the Royal Society B. The name they gave this genus was Atretochoana, from the Greek word atretos, meaning imporfate, and the Greek word choana, referring to the funnel of tube. Nussbaum and Wilkinson published further studies in 1997 describing in detail the caecilian's anatomy and morphology. In 1998, they discovered the second specimen in the University of Brasilia, although the origin of the species was also unknown. In 1999, they determined Atretochoana was a sister taxon of Potmophilus. Both of these specimens are mature females. Number 2. Binturong. Also known as the bear cat, the binturong is native to South and Southeast Asia. It has long, thick hair and is primarily dark in appearance, but can also have a whitish speckled pelage. It is unique in morphology as its popcorn-scented musk glands and its long, bushy, prehensile tail. The binturong is an omnivore, feeding on plants, insects, and smaller animals. It is primarily nocturnal, but not always. Females are able to enact delayed implantation, where a fertilized egg is not attached to the uterine walls until external conditions are ideal. The major threats of the binturong include habitat loss and forest degradation, as well as illegal hunting and trading. It has been assessed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List. The binturong has a thick coat of coarse black hair, a bushy tail that is thick at the root, gradually tapering and curling inwards at the tip. It is highly adapted for the tree lifestyle with its long, heavy body and short, stout legs. The snout is short and pointed with a slight upward curve at the nose. It is covered with brown, bristly hairs which lengthen as they diverge, forming a peculiar radiated circle around the face. The eyes are large, black, and prominent. The ears are short and rounded, edged with white hair, and have noticeable black hair tufts. It has 36 to 40 teeth, and each quadrant typically contains 3 short, round incisors, a long, sharp canine tooth, and 6 cheek teeth. Its limbs are plantigrade and bare-soiled, each sporting 5 clawed digits. The hind feet are longer than the forefeet. The tail is nearly as long as the head and the body. The body ranges from 71 to 84 centimeters, with the tail ranging from 66 to 69 centimeters. The binturong weighs around 9 to 20 kilograms. The binturong can be identified apart from the other species in the same family by its synaculous digits, short limbs, and the size of its rhinarium, which is more curved and narrow than other species. Unlike most other carnivorians, the male binturong does not have a baculum. The binturong also has longer, coarser coat hairs than other viverids. The anterior bursaflap of the ears is more widely and less deeply emarginate. The base of the tail is more muscular and is commonly paler in color than the body. The body hairs are typically darker in base color, but with varying levels of white or buff specklage, sometimes resulting in a straw-colored or gray binturong. Binturong is distributed across South and Southeast Asia, including India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Myanmar, Thailand, Malaysia, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, China, Indonesia, and the Philippines. It typically occurs at elevations of 0 to 3,000 meters, with primary and secondary lowland forest being more common. In Assam, the binturong inhabits foothills or forested hills, but less the forested plains. In Laos, it has been observed in extensive evergreen forest. In Malaysia, it has been recorded in secondary forests surrounding a palm estate that was logged in the 1970s. In Palawan, it inhabits primary and secondary lowland forests, including grassland forest mosaic up to 400 feet. The binturong is active during the day and at night. While binturong have been sighted during the day in Pelik Tiger Reserve, other studies revealed binturong to be active during nights and early mornings. The binturong is likely to have it descend to the ground relatively frequently to move between trees. It is omnivorous, feeding on small mammals, rodents, birds, fish, earthworms, insects, and fruits. Figs are a major component of its diet. The binturong is considered to be a keystone species as they are very important dispersers of ficus seeds, specifically strangler figs, because of their ability to scarify the seed's tough outer covering. Binturongs are not known to be very susceptible to natural predators, but occasionally fall victim to tigers and deerholes. Despite this fact, binturongs have a variety of defense mechanisms. When threatened, binturongs use a unique scent gland located under their tail that produces a popcorn-like odor which wards off any potential threats and marks their territory. Binturongs have also been known to defecate or urinate on potential threats as a last resort. They also may defend against predators with their sharp teeth and strong bite force. Number 1. The purple frog. This species is endemic to the Western Ghats of India. Although the adult frog was formally described in October 2003, the juvenile form of the species was described earlier in 1917. The purple frog appears robust and bloated and is relatively rounded compared to other, more dorso-ventrally flattened frogs. Its flattened body assists to cling to submerged rocks and boulders, which essentially helps it to fight strong currents, allowing it to remain near stream banks where it typically lives. Its arms and legs splay out in the standard oneiron body form. Compared to other frogs, it has a small head and an unusual pointed snout. Adults are typically dark purplish-gray in color. Males are about a third of the length of females. The specimen from which the species was originally described was 7 centimeters long from the tip of the snout to the vent. Tadpoles of the species had been described in 1917 as having oral suckers that allowed them to live in torrential streams. Suckers are also present in fishes' adaptations that are the result of convergent evolution. Some of these fishes co-concur with purple frog tadpoles in the hill streams. Its vocalization is a drawn-out, harsh call that sounds similar to a chicken clucking. Males of this species exhibit the unique behavior of calling from under a thin layer of soil. Some other burrowing frogs are known to do this, but these frogs have also been observed to call from the surface, while the purple frog has not. Purple frog may switch to head-first burrowing due to its wedge-shaped skull and other shaped limbs. Earlier thought to be restricted to the south of the Palgat Gap of the Western Ghats, additional records have extended the known range of the purple frog farther north of the gap. The species is now known to be quite widely distributed in the Western Ghats, ranging from the north all the way to the south. Like many frogs, the Indian purple frog is well adapted to its subterranean environment. The frog spends most of its life underground and surfaces only during the monsoon for a period of 2 weeks for mating. With few field scientists out in the field during the rainy season, the species was discovered and studied only in recent times. Males emerge to call besides temporary rainwater streams. The females then carry the male frogs on their backs to the egg-laying sites, which are usually crevices along the fast-flowing streams. Around 3,000 eggs are laid and fertilized in a rock pool, and the tadpoles metamorphose after around 100 days. I have more content like this on my channel, so make sure to check that out. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks.